Hello guys, how are we doing today? This is Tom and I am here with quite of a topic, quite of a subject. So bear with me, it will be quite heavy today, this live stream. I was thinking about making it just a pure video, but yeah, for some reason I think I can speak my mind more freely doing a live. And to inform you, as you just saw, damn, that's not a good beer at all. I am actually right now a little bit of feeling a little bit lucid. It's a good moment to have a little bit of a chat, and just this shady guy. Let these shady guys go away. They're probably not shady. It's just me being a little bit insecure, maybe. So today, what I wanted to talk about is the topic. Is about the economy. The modern age economy right now in 2025. I'm writing an article on this, and no, don't come screaming here now, please. Seriously? That was an honest reaction from you, and this screaming kid is coming here. Actually, I will go up here also. That was my initial plan, to make my live video from here, so I will do it. But there was these shady guys standing here. But yeah, now I got some company behind me, but that's fine. Now I have a proper place to put my beer. So I'm back to what I said. I'm writing an article right now, and bear with me, this will be a heavy one, and trust my words when I say it, because I am not making this up. This is no joke. This is some serious matters, And just let me have a seat. Let me relax a little bit. Sit down yourself. Just chill a little bit now here. The modern economy, and I say modern economy because I will come into a lot of topics, a lot of things in modern age society. For example, the modern economy in terms of the gig economy. I mean, being a freelancer is not something new, but I'm talking about the digital age, the digital social economics, you could say, in a way, because you are kind of working for yourself in this society a lot more than it used to be. For example, traditionally speaking, you owned a machine, a tractor, for example, and you could rent yourself because you had the tools, you had the machinery, you had the dough to put down to invest in a tractor, and you could outsource yourself to take care of someone's acre or someone's piece of farmland that needed some help. I will get to that, so relax, just sit down, get your popcorns, because this will be a heavy one. Back to what I said, but first, relax. Three parts, three main models of the modern age economy. And again, yeah, this is not something that is just now 2025. This has existed for a long time. But the last one that I will get to, you will see it's more of a modern touch to it because of the digital economy. So the number one, the most traditional way of earning a wage, the absolute basic way of making a living. Imagine you have a skill in any kind of range, from doctor, you're working in healthcare, you are having a landscaping business, you are an engineer of some sort. The scale go. I'm talking about your hourly rate is going to differentiate depending on what kind of skill you have. All right, we know that. So, what is the model one in terms of economy? You are trading your skill for productivity in terms of trading the time for a pay. For example, many examples. You can work in a shop. You're sitting there waiting for a customer to come with their business and do an exchange, and you are there exchanging your skill as some kind of expertise in some company. You know, like imagine you're working in a warehouse and you know a lot about products, a lot about materials, like a wood warehouse or a carpentry warehouse or something. You know, you are suited for this position, and you are just there getting an hourly rate that the business owner will give you. It's very basic. You know, it's not rocket science. This everyone has most people have a job where they trade their time for a pay. And the pay, of course, again, it differs depending on what level of skill you have, the experience, and of course what industry or field you are doing your business in. Obviously, if you are trading your time working as a lawyer or some kind of high expertise niche, is going to be higher than just working in the local grocery store, for example, that they can replace anyone anytime. And talking about being replaced, we will get to that later. But that was the first model. The second model, I guess you can probably tell this yourself. Okay, so for example, using myself as an example, I have experience obviously from the first model, and I have experience from actually all three models. But go to the second one, is you are a creator, you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, for example. This is also someone who has invested either their time to get a skill so they can leverage themselves in a way that they invest money, they have capital because of they always have to invest some kind of time, you know, because passive income is not just showing up by itself. You know, you have to earn it or you have to inherit money, for example. Imagine that you are either gaining that skill to be able to invest in some kind of service or a product to have a return of your investment, so you can basically buy yourself time, or you have, like I said, inherited money. It's like most times you have traded before you worked up to, you invested your time to build a product or a service or something larger that will generate something big back. I'll give you an example about this also. I actually, like I said, I'm writing an article about this, and it's kind of basic in a way. Imagine the houses behind me here. Imagine I buy this apartment complex. I have money that I have earned, either inherited or I have invested in some kind of skill or something that generated me money or a position to be able to buy a apartment complex like this. So imagine I do that. Every month it comes in a lot of money from people that are renting a home from me. And that gives me opportunities, obviously, because I have a lot of resources now suddenly. I mean, of course, there's probably going to be a loan, there's mortgage, maybe. But if I'm lucky, I have that apartment complex paid off already. So imagine that I then outsource them, because there's a lot of expenses. Imagine you're going to have to pay someone break something in the home, or there is electricity corporations that you have a contract with. It's again mortgage or a loan maybe you have to pay off for the apartment complex. Could be many expenses, and also many unexpected expenses. So with that said, sometimes you have, depending, of course, a lot of factors. If you have apartment complex in a very attractive area, it's going to increase the market value, we know. And that's going to increase the price in rent, and you will have more because of that. But yeah, again, the expenses is higher than also. But if you have it paid off, imagine, and you get all this money in one date every month from the renters, people that rent you can outsource like maintenance and people that take care of the administration unless you want to work with it yourself. You have bought yourself time. That's my point about the Model 2, that you had traded capital into something that returns a large return of investment, ROI. And that gives you time to do whatever you want, maybe get a new skill, work on some new investment projects. There are so many things that gives opportunities with the Model 2. Unless you are, back to the number Model 1, you are, a lot of time you are, in modern age economy, many people I seriously gonna say this, I think that in a way we are living in a slavery system. Sure, you have the freedom to buy whatever you want with your money that you earn from your wage, but most times people, in America, for example, people cannot, there's so many people cannot handle a $400 emergency. What the fuck, like, seriously? That's very crucial. So living in that kind of a system where it programs your mind that you're always tired working for someone for a very low pay, where you're just getting by. Is that what we went to university for? Is that what we educate ourselves for? To just get by? I thought life is about growth, flourishing, and that there's the aspiration of getting better, You put down the time to educate yourself, you put down the time to work. Shouldn't that be the basic things for improvement? Yes, it is, but that does not really exist anymore. It exists, but it's becoming scarcity of it to a high degree, Many people in the United States that, don't get me started, land of opportunities and the American dream, these things, I sincerely believed in it, and to some degree I still believe in it, but it's becoming limited, very, very limited. Okay, so back to the models. The third one is that's why I say the modern economy. This third model proves it, and it's a lot of it is a scam. So what is the Model 3 in modern age economy? I have experience from all of them, but this is the one that can work, but is also very, very like a fraud. Imagine that you are building your Instagram or your social media persona, that you are an authority in a field, but you don't have experience with it. It's so disgusting. There are so many scams like this. For example, how to make money online and different kind of online businesses. And all it gets down to is for you to open the wallet to pay someone who seems to be like some kind of a hotshot, an authority in whatever field it is, that is gonna sell you the secret trick to make a lot of money online. So a lot of them are just talking out of their ass, I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. And a lot of them don't have no idea what it means to build a business in terms of how do you actually have sales leads for sales, how do you make a marketing objective, what are the campaigns and what are the platforms actually how to execute these things, and how do you actually build a business from the ground in terms of registration, in terms of tax regulations, and I will get to that also about tax regulation. And what does it take to actually build a relationship with other companies? Anybody could say that they are a business developer. It's like anyone can say that they are an artist. Technically, I could call myself both, because I do have a lot of things that could be considered artistic. I personally would never say that I'm an artist, because I dislike the term so much. It sounds beautiful. The word itself, artist, is very bohemian and very nice terminology. All I say when I'm talking about my creative side about myself, I just say that I guess I'm a creative or a creative person. And then when it comes to a business person, speaking now from a perspective of being a business owner, I would say that, yeah, I have skills and experience of running and starting a business. But anyone can say these things, you know, it doesn't make you anything more. So saying that online, that you are just talking about, for example, I see so many speaking about, and this really freaking bothers me. You know, I almost get angry when I see this. They talking so much about be authentic. You are the creator of your life. You know, it's always these kind of slogans. That sounds good. I mean, honestly, it sounds good, but they don't have anything to back it up. Anyone can speak and just say things that sounds good, but what is that for a business? And then expecting you to pay thousands of dollars, for example, for a product that contains material and content that you can find online. It's so ridiculous, man. These sketchy dudes back now. Keeping an eye on them. But yeah, generally here is very, very safe. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. To be honest, it's really, really nice to live here in Portugal. So yeah, that's the three models. Basically the wage terms of selling time or trading time for an hourly rate. And I was gonna say that about model 2 also, that you are generally also have to have an hourly rate in a way. I mean, of course, it always gets down to some kind of a payment. But of course, this is the thing, in investment is so relative in terms of what does the investment give you? Does it give you so much of a leverage to have all of your future covered, like a lot of people have, very privileged people? Or does it give you like a 5-year slack time, basically? It's so relative. And speaking like myself, now I can get into that when I have talked about the models. Like for example, the job market is a complete utter joke, you know. And speaking for myself now, as a person who consider myself extremely privileged in terms of where I come from, where I grew up, and how my childhood was, and my youth, and everything has been great. And I have never in my life considered myself as poor as I do today. And that is strange to say, as a healthy, strong, creative and future optimistic minded 35-year-old man. I have never experienced this before. I mean, maybe I have actually, you know, when you finish university, my bachelor's for example, you just got a job. You started from scratch a little bit. But I mean, the job market today expect you to do, like for example, 3 to 5 interviews, including some kind of cognitive or practical test to see if you can handle the work for up to 4 hours. Like that's insane for me, to be honest, that you have to work for them for free to prove yourself. Like I think, okay, if it's a position that I really, really want, I would go through like 3 interviews. I understand that. Like to really get to know each other and really talk. But in terms of how people or recruiters today, I'm sorry if you're working in recruitment, but I think a lot of recruitment positions are completely unnecessary. There's so much outsourcing and there are so many young, inexperienced individuals. I mean, for example, I got in contact with one who is considered like I think he is very considered as a very, like a hotshot recruiter from Sweden. And I was in contact with him a few years ago. helped me a lot. I am always going to be happy for his insights on helping me to clean and shape my resume. But I could not believe that he was not at that time aware about ATS friendly resumes. Trust my word when I say this. Recruiter, if your resume will reach a human physical person, they will spend about 5 seconds to just look like this with their eyes through the paper, just like this. Very, very briefly, and then keep it or throw it. That's it, you know. And the job market is very much like, just guarantee or just aware yourself if you are starting out. Most people will not even answer you. That is like normal. That's the norm. People will not get back to you. If they get back to you, probably you can prepare yourself that they did not read anything about you. They just answer and copy and paste message auto, or maybe even auto responded to everyone just to say that they got back to everybody, that they went further with other candidates. And the other thing is that when they are a little bit more personal, when they even write to you, like it happened to me a few last week about a position that, yeah, they went through with other candidates, but they will consider you if something changed, you know. And I tell you, it can help actually if they write you that seems a little bit human. If they write to you that we received your application and we are happy to inform you when we are going to the next step, whatever. If you can even mail them or answer that mail that you appreciate it and you are really interested, and just let them know if there's something more that they need from you, they will just let you know. If you can write that to them, I think that is already like good to get that kind of connection, because you know we are humans, we are looking for a connection. And if they call you, this is also kind of tricky. That is nice, you know, that says something that they called you, but don't expect, because they always do a call, you know, and if they're interested, they will make that first call to do a screening. It's called a screening, to see like if you are all there, if you're real, if you really apply for this job, like, or maybe you were an AI. So that's positive. Absolutely, that there's a human calling you specifically about a job that you have applied for. That is great. But don't expect them to ever get back to you. But it's still really positive. And then, of course, if you are invited for an interview, like a real proper interview after a screening, if that would happen, you are really a potential candidate. So yeah, these things are very positive in this way, but the fact remains that the unemployment rate is probably way worse than it says it is. And I think it's going to be worse. I'm sorry to say it, but I think it's going to be worse. And I was gonna say, I forgot about this with the unemployment rate. It has just started. Yeah, I was gonna say that a lot of job posts are complete scams, and I don't know all the ways, but there are very horrible ways people can use your data. Either for making the company, they put a job advertise or a job post to make their current employees scared, being replaced. And that I also see videos about people that are actually seniors and great in their job getting replaced, and you know why? Because they can take in someone younger, less experienced, but can do roughly the same thing and pay them much less. That's one reason why some seniors are getting out of the market now. I was just on the phone with my mom earlier, and yeah, you know, the older people, they don't really understand what the market is really like, the job market. They probably will never really understand it also, because you know the boomers, they are living in their boxed squared lives. Not anything negative saying about it, but it is very, in a way, that they have their habits, and they come from a different age where everything looked so different in terms of jobs and investment and buying houses and you name it. It's such a different kind of era, basically. So now I wanted to get into two last parts of this, which is basically about AI and the gig economy. Funny, that woman that called me a few weeks ago about a job, and she asked me if I use AI, and I said, yeah, I do. In all honesty, if you are not using AI by now, it's the Q4 2025, and you don't use it anything, I'm sorry to say, but you are in trouble. If you had never heard of AI, I don't know what planet you're from, but this is crucial. It doesn't matter how of course, I agree, there are some people very against AI, and me included, in some ways, for sure I am. And some people say, you cannot say it's just a tool, it's so bad on everything. I beg to differ. I understand, I see it as a very powerful tool, and don't get me started on comparing it to Terminator or something like Robocop, or you are gonna have to have this algorithm, data-based ideas or opinions, or you will be eliminated. I'm not joking about this. This is going this way for sure. And yes, it is a tool, but it's like a dangerous tool. So that she asked me about if I use it made me think like, was that a trick question? Like, do you have, your company has some values not to use it or what? The thing is about that you are using it you are honest with how you're using it, and you are using it just as, because that's the thing, it can make us really dumb in a lot of ways. And I notice it myself, for example, sometimes, no, but I can just do it, I can just use AI for it, or I can just ask this and I can just do this, instead of doing the hard work yourself, For example, I could argue the exact same thing about internet. You can just Google it. What is exactly the difference? AI is just better at it. It's a tough nut to crack, And I am 100% certain, and trust my words when I say this, you are replaceable by an AI. It's just a matter of when. If you are working in sales, for example, or you are working in something that requires a lot of emotional intelligence, or you're working in something that requires a lot of technicality or technical attributes of physical attributes, then you might be more safe. But if you are doing something very repetitive, like an accountant, a lawyer, you lawyers, you are absolutely very screwed. And I mean, not screwed as in you're done. It depends what level you're in. Are you going to imagine that you have a case and you need to apply some laws on this case? Why would you need a human to do this? For example, you're writing spreadsheets or Excel forms or doing calculations about purchases and expenses for a company. Why would you need a human to do this anymore? You can have someone who is controlling the AI does it, and it saves you, imagine in 1 month, like 160 hours paid work by a human. you can actually have an AI do all those calculations or spreadsheets, whatever it is, you know, this paperwork, administration stuff. You can have it done in, I don't know, depends what it is, of course, but I don't know, let's say just 5 to 10 hours. Why would you pay a human full time? That's exactly what this whole thing is about, and it's sad. I don't agree with all of it, but it's happening. So the gig economy, I see so many, you know, probably great guys, and not, yes, I'm speaking mostly about great guys because it's most of them that are doing this kind of delivery service. It's called DoorDash, or it's called Eats, you know, delivery Eats services. I'm not gonna say their names, these services, because they are good in a way because you get your food, but it's crap as well because it's just about automation and exploitation. And people say, "Oh, you work for yourself," but are you actually making a great living from it? I'm not sure that you are. Do you think seriously these delivery guys are able to invest their money to be able to buy their own home in the future? I don't think so. Forget about it, you know. That's how our society is getting broken. It's just split into different kind of gig services. Everything is about just customer related services, and you're gonna have them outsource everything to an individual person. I mean, sure, it gives you some kind of freedom in this way. If I don't want to work now, I don't do it, but you know damn sure that you need to bust your ass to make a living of this. I mean, when I went to Lisbon, it was last winter, in January. I saw so many people from other parts of the world. I know they are not Portuguese. A lot of them are like Indians or Bangladesh or Pakistani, whatever. Uh, just sitting there on their bikes, waiting for another call or something, and to deliver, and they look completely broken. It's so sad, you know. I see this is so fucking sad in a way, how our society is breaking into these kind of gig services with no. Do you think these guys have health insurance, for example? I don't think so. Imagine these guys just working as much all the time and just living in a shared place with I don't know, 10 other kind of guys, sweaty guys coming home. Just imagine this must be so bad in the environment in those places where they live. I heard some stories about how these people live. Imagine you want to build something, you want to build a prosperous future, you want to build something with someone, you want to meet a girl. Just think about like what chances do these guys, because it's not about just being a good guy anymore. If you want, that's another topic though, but it relates to gig service, gig economy, that you want to meet someone and you have these girls that is like semi-attractive and totally mundane actually, just showing a little bit of a nice, what should I say, I need to choose my my words carefully here. Like on social media, they are kind of exposing themselves a little bit, just a little bit, and they can build up an extreme following because there are so many guys just drooling after these women that are actually just complete nutheads. Very, very basic, boring girls that have actually nothing to offer but their. Exactly. And that's some guys just drool over them and they think they are amazing, and because they reveal a little bit of themselves on social media and they use that for their advantage. And then they sell these explicit photos or whatever it is and making just bank, you know, thousands and thousands, and every month. And you have these great guys trying to have the best intentions in the world. Even some of them are like highly educated, but just living in this economy where there is no future for them in a way. Like, what, to be honest, what kind of future is it to do this kind of work in a gig economy? Yeah, I get it. In a way, it's the free market. It's the free labor market. You know, you choose. You start from the bottom. You build yourself up. But it's just now the digital economy and digital gig economy is completely scattered. It's completely broken. I see so many broken men. You know, every band is broken in one way or another. That's how we can relate to each other in a way. But yeah, all I gotta say is that I try to do it as much as I can when I see a hardworking fellow brother in a restaurant or something. Like, sometimes I say, "Stay strong, brother." That's all I can say. It's and then you have a lot of these people, like, for example, I know I'm a little bit judgmental, but this older couple walking down here, like, not a care in the world, work there. Yeah, they probably worked very, very hard also, you know, down here. This old couple, maybe tourists or something, and just invested a little bit of their money, bought a home, paid it off quite easily with a long-term plan, low interest rate. Sure, the taxation today, tax and buying a home, everything seems more and more like a big, huge scam. I'm not comparing that to the boomers, for example, the older generations. Then it worked. You could be a fucking butcher, or you could work in a factory, like very mundane, changing tires on a car every day, or you could work as some kind of an engineer, or don't get me started on being a politician back. I mean, in Sweden, being a politician, like, imagine 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even today. Being a politician, you are a bank, you know, you are a bank yourself. You could actually start a bank by yourself. Fuck, people didn't even have to work. I have heard stories about this welfare state was so strong. 80s, 70s, 80s. I mean, the machinery in Sweden in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s was going fucking non-stop. It was a machine, and it just spit it out bucks after bucks, after dollar after dollar, after euro after euro, you know, or Swedish crown actually. But you know, it just spit it out fucking loads of money all the time. I heard stories you could even, I have a knee injury now after a match in football. I'm recovering well, but that was not even a broken fracture. I could retire for the rest of my life. I'm not joking when I say this. It's the truth. You could have a small injury at work and you're like, I'm so bad now, I need to stay home for the next 5 years. You got your ass covered, you know, you got your paid, you had your house paid off. Sure, a lot of people worked because Sweden was united, you know, Sweden was very united. We were one people. People worked, of course, very hard. But they really saw you saw the improvement. You saw what you harvest, or you could see what you saw, if that makes sense. I'm trying to say that you could actually see the fruits of your labor. And yeah, do you do that today? Do you think that these guys running around here on their scooters, delivering foods, or whatever it might be, you know, do you think that they see the fruits of their labor? I hope that I don't come off as negative. But I'm keeping my optimism. I am never going to fall. I'm never gonna be a doomer. I hope not, because sure, there have been. Sometimes you might think a little bit like two things. You might think a little bit like, just throw in the towel. You know, what difference does it really make? But you know, you gotta actually. The importance of you being here, it's so much more valuable than not. Just look at these trees here behind me. Imagine how long they've been here and how beautiful and how much they are thriving. It didn't start like that. They were very brittle and weak and vulnerable when they started. You know, that's why I think like, no, I'm really in for the long haul. You know, I'm someone who wants to be useful, someone who wants to be reliable. I want people to count on me. I want to be a positive impact on everyone around me. You know, we gotta be a little bit humorous, and we gotta see the situation with some kind of humor and just do the best of it, you know. And the other thing that I was gonna say was, now I forgot. It was about that and that. Yeah, maybe it come back to me. I don't like when I forget about things that I want to say. It's really, really bad. It's really annoying. But yeah, you know, sometimes you're thinking it's about building. That's what it is. It's about building. That's what I want to say. It's about building, long term, and really to be kind to each other. It's not. This world is already hard as it is, and it's very cruel as it is. Right now, I think many people. Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say about being like some doomer is not the way to be. It's. I'm just thinking a little bit. Should really be more like see things with humor. That makes everything more easy. Because to be honest, who wants to just be negative? It takes negativity is. No, I have no problem with someone like being a little bit having a hard time or be complaining sometime, but not for too much. You know, it's negativity is a very toxic energy. And trust my word when I say this. Everything is energies. And I'm not speaking in some kind of hippie perspective. I'm talking about like actual physics and mathematically proven that life and consciousness, nature is consisting of energies, frequencies and energies. The energy that you give out is coming back to you. It's frequencies. And sure, we have the right to express how we are feeling about specific things that's going through our life, what we are going through. You have all the right in the world to express that. But I think doing things more with a humor, like seeing the absurd. I mean, I'm really interested about this. A philosophy. You could say it's maybe a little bit of a counter-cultural, philosophical perspective, absurdism. Like realism or subjectivitism, you can see things from an absurdism philosophical perspective also, but you're doing it not from a complete doomer kind of view. You're doing it from more of a humor, with humor basically. Fuck, I keep getting back to me like what, there was one thing I wanted to bring up, but I just keep kind of forgetting about it. But whatever, you know, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you are just forgetful, I guess. Maybe that's a good note to end this stream actually. I think I went on for quite a while. I told you it's gonna be a heavy one, this. I feel very lucid, I feel very positive, but also very mixed with a lot of things that's going on in my life. But you know, with age, now I speak like I'm that old, but I'm not really that old. I don't even know what's considered middle age actually. I think like, I don't know, is it 40 or 50? I don't know. But sometimes we are going through, life is chapters, you know. I always say that. I think it was the guy from Supertramp who said that in one life you live many lives, and that was very inspiring to me. And I couldn't agree more. life is really consisting of chapters, and sometimes you might feel a little bit directionless or something like it. I wouldn't say that I am directionless whatsoever. I am just trying now to really set myself up after finishing this summer. I had an amazing summer and finishing my master's degree. And I knew that, but can this kid please be quiet? Yeah. Um, um, so, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. This little kid came up here. But that's all right. I welcome everybody. Everybody's welcome, but just don't make a lot of noise. Good. Now you can go. Um, this is not. Yeah, I think I started to rant a little bit, but just stay strong, brother. That's all I gotta say. Sister, stay strong, human being. That's all I gotta say. There looks something really walking, really something nice over there. Yeah, see you around.